On philosophy and prophecy. Philosophy is derived from the Latin roots phil, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom and understanding. Thus philosophy is the love of wisdom and understanding. And those who pursue philosophy search for wisdom and understanding. And wisdom and understanding were given to God's people through his statutes. For as they were commanded, keep and do them, for that is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples, who will hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Deuteronomy 4 and 5. But his people did not follow God's statutes. Thus his wisdom and understanding were not theirs to have. And the Father would bestow his wisdom upon his only begotten Son. Then a shoot will spring from the stem of Jesse, and a branch from his roots will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and strength, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. Isaiah 11 and 1. And the Son would bestow his wisdom upon his servants. For this reason also the wisdom of God said, I will send to them prophets and apostles, and some of them they will kill, and some they will persecute. Luke 11 and 49. But those who despise wisdom flee from the truth. For the wisdom of the sensible is to understand his way, but the foolishness of fools is deceit. Proverbs 14 and 8. For those who despise wisdom seek to fulfill their own selfish desires. He who separates himself seeks his own desire. He quarrels against all sound wisdom. A fool does not delight in understanding, but only in revealing his own mind. Proverbs 18 and 1. But wisdom shall understandably judge each man on that day. For some men have understood the word and the truth, and are built on the rock who is Christ. But other foolish men have not understood the truth, and have not acted wisely. For as the Son said, everyone who hears these words of mine and acts upon them may be compared to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house. And yet it did not fall, for it had been founded on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. Matthew 7 and 24. And those who love wisdom will search for the truth, but they seek to understand the true word of God. And the truth was first manifest through the ordinances of the Father, which was given to his people through the law. For as the psalmist said, your righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and your law is true. Psalms 119 and 142. For the sum of your word is true, and every one of your righteous ordinances is everlasting. Psalms 119 and 160. But the law also warned that the truth would befall them, as it is written in the law of Moses, all this calamity has come on us, yet we have not sought the favor of the Lord our God by turning from our iniquity and giving attention to your truth. Daniel 9 and 13. And the truth of the word would become manifest in the flesh. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth were realized through Jesus Christ. John 1 and 17. And his truth would bring light to this world. And this is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and men loved the darkness rather than the light, for their deeds were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light, and does not come to the light for fear that his deeds will be exposed. But he who practices the truth comes to the light, so that his deeds may be manifested as having been wrought in God. John 3:19. And the prophets of God have sought for the truth. For prophecy is derived from the Greek word prophetia, which means to know the will of God. And the will of God, regardless of the outcome, is always the truth. For God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? Numbers 23:19. And whoever does the will of God is a child of God. For as the Son said, whoever does the will of God, he is my brother and sister and mother. Mark 3:35. And by doing the will of God, we vanquish the ignorance of foolish men. For such is the will of God, that by doing right we may silence the ignorance of foolish men. 1 Peter 2:15. And the greatest philosophers have sought for the truth. For as Plato explained, is it not a bad thing to be deceived about the truth, and a good thing to know what the truth is? For I assume that by knowing the truth you mean knowing things as they really are. Thus the logical assumption would be to search for the truth. For as the Son said, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Matthew 7:7. And in searching for the truth we shall now expound upon the thoughts of the greatest philosophers. For by truth we shall know things as they were, as they are, and as they always shall be.